It's about damn time we get a heel Seth Rollins run. Welcome back to another episode. I am D Loves Wrestling, and today we are going to be talking about one of the trending topics, I believe, in all of professional wrestling right now, and it is this triple threat match, and specifically what we saw on this past Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins now is due a favor. I am so glad that they are making Seth Rollins an actual threat in this match. If we go back to the last two segments that these three have had, Seth Rollins is just in the corner, or he's not even on screen. They're not even showing him on the camera during the segments that they've had previously. The only time they showed Seth Rollins during that entire segment where Punk gave the favor was at the very end of him just laughing. In my eyes, Seth Rollins has been treated like the odd man out of this triple threat match. I feel like WWE is mainly focusing this match towards CM Punk and Roman Reigns for Paul Heyman. And Seth Rollins is kind of just here. Just because he has anger towards both Roman Reigns and CM Punk, but he has no affiliation with Paul Heyman, and that's the main goal of this entire match, it seems. That all changed on this past Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman shared the ring together for a good 5 to 10 minutes, I believe. Paul Heyman was cutting a promo, and then Seth Rollins came out. Seth Rollins was drilling Paul Heyman with the truth when it comes to how his relationship really is with both Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Now, Paul Heyman obviously is the wise man. His tribal chief is Roman Reigns. Basically, his job is to take care of Roman Reigns and do certain things for him. But does Roman Reigns genuinely appreciate Paul Heyman? And this is where Seth Rollins was making his case that Roman Reigns doesn't really care about you, Paul. After Roman Reigns lost the championship at WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns, as we all know, was gone for what, 5 to 6 months? Paul Heyman wasn't gone. Paul Heyman was still on TV up until he got obliterated by the New Bloodline. Let me backtrack. That is what happened to Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns literally just took a vacation for 5 to 6 months and said, Paul, yeah, you go hang out with my younger cousin. Yeah, he's not solidified to be a tribal chief role. No, but we're just gonna put you with Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Jacob Fatu. And just that right there, like, dude, Paul Heyman's just left in the dust. Yeah, you lost at WrestleMania, but that doesn't mean that you just go away for 5 to 6 months and you leave your wise man. So Roman Reigns just leaves Paul Heyman with his younger cousin, who isn't as established as Roman Reigns, obviously, when it comes to maturity and also holding the family's values. Clearly, as seen, Paul Heyman was literally powerbombed through the announce table in Madison Square Garden in front of his kids. And Roman Reigns never even mentioned it. Like, even when he came back, he never even mentioned that Solo literally destroyed his wise man. So during this entire time where Paul Heyman is getting brutalized by Roman Reigns' younger family members, Roman Reigns is chilling, he's on a long vacation, he's just doing his own thing. Oh, and Rollins didn't stop with just Roman Reigns. Of course, you know Seth Rollins sounded off on the self-proclaimed best in the world CM Punk. He had a lot to say about Punk, and it was really true. I mean, you can't really argue with what Seth Rollins said about CM Punk when it comes to him betraying Paul Heyman. Rollins started off by saying, Paul, he literally left you for 10 plus years. He left the entire company and he just ditched you. What best friend would do that and not even like check up on him during those entire 10 plus years? I'm not trying to say Punk can't just move on and do better for himself, but 2 years prior to Punk leaving, they had the greatest connection, and Punk was on, without a doubt, one of his greatest runs in professional wrestling. And it was all caused by the connection that Paul and Punk had between one another. So yeah, you leave the company, and that's a decision that is up to CM Punk, but you don't even check up on your best friend, like during that entire 10 plus year time span? Like, I don't know, it's a little off to me. And the next point that Seth Rollins made was something that I never even actually thought about. It was the War Games match, the War Games situation. They were searching for partners to team up with Roman Reigns because, well, no one really wanted to team up with Roman Reigns, or they just couldn't find the right suitable partner. They were going with people who they could trust at first. And the first option of people who they can trust to team up with Roman Reigns, Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was the first pick, the first option that they wanted to have on their team. Seth Rollins obviously declined that offer, as CM Punk was the one who was in that match at War Games. But let's backtrack a little bit. CM Punk was the last option for the Bloodline. Everyone in the Bloodline, they trusted Seth Rollins first. They could trust that Seth could be a reliable option. And Paul Heyman was a factor in that. So the fact that Punk was a last-minute option, they were like, I guess we got to go with CM Punk. The fact that Paul Heyman had to say that kind of shows how Paul Heyman truly feels deep down about CM Punk. You can't deny facts, and it seems like Paul Heyman is maybe finally starting to realize the true CM Punk. And yes, CM Punk accepted that offer, but the only reason why CM Punk accepted the offer to help Paul Heyman wasn't to be a great friend to Paul Heyman, no. It was only because CM Punk was getting something out of Paul Heyman. Think about that. If your best friend needed your help, right, and they really needed your help, it was make or break for the sake of your family. You call on your best friend, you're like, guys, I know someone, he'll drop everything that he's doing, he won't ask anything of us, and it's because I got this great bond and friendship with this person. And then that person turns around and says, yeah, I'll help you out. You get all excited, and then they throw this at you. They say, under one condition. It's like, hold on now. We're best friends. We've been through thick and thin together. We've been through the ups and downs. I owe you something? I need you right now. This is for the sake of my tribal chief's family. And you're throwing me, honestly, like kind of under the bus with this one. I'm down and out, and you need something from me? I thought this would be just a genuine connection. No. CM Punk only accepted that offer from Paul Heyman, not because he's his best friend, but it's because CM Punk wanted something out of Paul Heyman. And like CM Punk has said in the past, he's not here to make friends. And I think that kind of correlates with what we might see at this year's WrestleMania in this big triple threat match. CM Punk isn't here to make friends, he's here to make money. Seth Rollins' great points of exposing the true relationship between Paul Heyman and CM Punk and Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. I thought Rollins was going to stop there. I didn't think that Rollins was going to really get too explicit with anything physically or verbally to Paul Heyman, because he doesn't really have too much affiliation with Paul. What Seth Rollins was trying to do in this entire situation of Monday Night Raw, and I think also of the last two previous weeks, because we've been seeing teased little snippets of Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman talking amongst one another. They're very short, nothing too big of what they're talking about, but we never used to see that. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, even on the same screen, talking one-on-one amongst each other. So now we're seeing them in the ring, and Seth Rollins, he's manipulating this situation. I think all along, he knew that he had a way of getting the last laugh, the last favor, if you will. He was pushing Paul Heyman around to test CM Punk to see if he'll come out and help Paul Heyman, because how much is Paul Heyman really worth to CM Punk? Honestly, CM Punk took a little while to come and help out Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins, he gave Paul Heyman a little slap, he was shoving him a little bit. Punk still didn't come out. Punk only came out, he had Paul Heyman like pressed against the turnbuckle. So Punk and Rollins, they brawl a little bit, and Rollins stomps CM Punk in the middle of the ring. Paul Heyman is obviously still genuine to CM Punk. He goes over to CM Punk, he's checking to see if he's okay, and Seth Rollins, an opportunity just popped into the Visionary's head. He sees CM Punk down and out. He sees Paul Heyman right next to him in perfect vision. Seth Rollins could end Paul Heyman. He could seriously stop Paul Heyman, and this match would just lose its value if Paul Heyman's not in the match, if we're being honest here. So Seth Rollins, he's sizing up. He's sizing up for a stomp on Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman doesn't even see it. Seth Rollins comes running in, about to stomp Paul, and he stops. Light bulb went into his head. He realized that by him not stomping Paul, by him, if you want to be honest here, saving Paul Heyman's career, he will get an opportunity, just like how CM Punk got an opportunity by using Paul Heyman, and just like how in many situations Roman Reigns has gotten opportunities by using Paul Heyman. So by Seth Rollins not doing anything, but threatening to do something, he talked in the microphone and he said, now you owe me a favor. I feel like that confused a lot of fans, because everyone was thinking that Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman were going to team up. And if we know WWE, they're not so clear-sighted. They always have this curveball where it's like, I never expected that to happen. I definitely think that's what's going to go down during this main event match. A lot of people think Paul Heyman is just going to team up with Seth Rollins now because Seth Rollins has a favor. This is where we finally get a heel out of this triple threat match, because it's all baby faces. Even though Seth Rollins did what he did on Monday Night Raw, that doesn't make him a heel. What happened on Raw was him just getting the upper hand. He didn't stomp Paul Heyman. Him and Punk have always been brawling at each other for the last couple of months, so nothing technically made him a heel. Some might say that was unlike current Seth Rollins. This is where I'm about to dive in and say how Seth Rollins will turn heel at WrestleMania. So, at the very end of the WrestleMania match, the big triple threat match, the main event of night one, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. CM Punk has his favor, right? CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is in CM Punk's corner. Roman Reigns is technically alone, but we know Roman's going to hold his own. He's going to be fine. So Seth Rollins has a favor. We're definitely not going to hear about his favor until the match is said and done. I don't see why WWE would expose Seth Rollins' favor, because that would just ruin the sake of the anticipation of his favor being used. So I think during the match, Paul Heyman is on CM Punk's side. There will get to the point where Roman Reigns maybe accidentally hits Paul Heyman, or he gets so frustrated at Paul Heyman for being so thankful of CM Punk, even though CM Punk GTS Roman Reigns, and obviously Roman Reigns is going to be mad at Punk. Roman Reigns goes to hit CM Punk, or maybe even spear CM Punk. Bam, gets Paul Heyman, spears him. As much as Paul Heyman said that he's still loyal to Roman Reigns, even though he's going to be walking down with CM Punk and being in his corner for the WrestleMania match, I think that is where we get to see the Paul Heyman that we saw on this past Monday Night Raw, where he snapped on Seth Rollins for Rollins pushing Paul to his maximum limit of being bossed around. I think we're going to see that with Roman Reigns spearing Paul Heyman, and honestly, not regretting it too much, because maybe Roman Reigns has just had enough of this, oh, I'm on this side, I'm super close with him, is it okay if I go with him? I can see Roman Reigns just being done with that. After spearing Paul Heyman, I can see him being like, all right, yeah, it's my so-called wise man. Is he really my wise man anymore? I could really care less. I want to win this match. I want to be the top dog. I want to show Punk, Rollins why they're main eventing, and that's because Roman Reigns is on the match card for this match. Heyman is down. I could definitely see Punk getting a little momentum, Roman Reigns taking over and beating Punk down. Heyman eventually gets up, and I could see him low-blowing Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns falls to the ground, and then CM Punk starts laughing, looking at Paul Heyman, and then Paul and Punk, they have this emotional moment as it looks like CM Punk is going to win this match. They share a special moment. I can see CM Punk, he's sizing up for the GTS. He's getting ready to make Roman go to sleep on the night one main event, CM Punk's first ever main event of WrestleMania. And then Rollins is either outside of the ring or he's slowly crawling into the ring. He locks eyes with Paul Heyman. And remember, Rollins drilled the truth to Paul Heyman on this past Monday Night Raw. You could see in Paul's face, he's realizing how he's being used. He's realizing how he is being manipulated by Roman and Punk. Dude, CM Punk used Paul Heyman against his will for the War Games match. The only reason why Punk wanted to be a part of the War Games match is because he got something out of Paul that is forcing him to be in this sticky situation. What best friend would do that? That's where the Paul Heyman low-blowing Roman Reigns comes into play, and that's where what I'm about to say comes into play as well. Seth Rollins still has his favor, and he's going to lock eyes with Paul Heyman as CM Punk is getting ready to set up to go to sleep on Roman Reigns, making it seem like Paul is still with CM Punk, everything's good, but Rollins still has that favor. And everyone, I feel like, might forget it towards the very end of the match, as it looks like Punk is going to be the favorite to win. Rollins, Paul, they lock eyes. Rollins nods his head, kind of similar to what The Rock did. Paul Heyman low blows CM Punk. Roman Reigns is still down. Punk is in position for a stomp for Seth Rollins to size up. Rollins gets back up on his feet. CM Punk is completely exhausted. It's towards the end of the match. Seth Rollins, boom, mega stomp. I can even see Seth Rollins doing maybe 2 more stomps after that, because this is a major match for Seth Rollins, as he's been the odd man out this entire build-up. There were even some points where I feel like in some of the segments where Seth Rollins, he's just out there. He's got his wacky clothes on, and everyone honestly only remembers him being out there because he just stands out visually. So this is where it's about damn time we take Seth Rollins seriously. Seth Rollins uses his favor of Paul Heyman turning on CM Punk. What did Seth Rollins say? He's been talking about this forever. He wants to end CM Punk. What CM Punk believes to be the greatest friendship that he has in Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins wants to end it for good. And if we're being honest here, despite Seth Rollins pushing Heyman around on this past Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins seems to be the only genuine and real person when it comes to talking to Paul Heyman. You don't see Roman Reigns having these talks with Paul Heyman about saying, look, Paul, I shouldn't have left you for those 5 to 6 months. The fact that I left you to get powerbombed through a table in front of your kids, that was messed up of me, man. I know I'm the tribal chief. I need to take accountability. That's my bad. And even Punk saying, look, I used you, man. And I feel bad for that. You don't see that between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. You actually see Seth Rollins caring about the situation that Paul Heyman is in. So that's where we see Paul Heyman having a little bit of faith in Seth Rollins, right? And it looks like that's going to be the finish of the match. We might see some sort of regret with Paul Heyman. Even though he's getting some sort of revenge, he obviously still cares about these two guys, right? He still cares about CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Even if they have used them for certain situations, there's still a strong connection there. Paul Heyman is in that same position as he was on the end of Monday Night Raw, where Seth Rollins originally stopped the stomp to get his favor. Now full circle, this is where Seth Rollins becomes the ultimate heel. It should just be the end of the match. I think some fans might even be happy that Seth's about to win. But then, Paul Heyman's in that position. Seth Rollins stares down Paul Heyman, talking to Roman Reigns and CM Punk while they're down. I'm so sorry. Seth Rollins obliterates Paul Heyman. Absolutely destroys Paul Heyman. Stares him down. Seth Rollins covers not just CM Punk, but Roman Reigns as well, while Paul Heyman is just there lying in the ring with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That is how you turn Seth Rollins into not this like kind of cool heel. This is just a menace Seth Rollins. And this is what we need. We need like this sellout Seth Rollins. If he did this, he would be kind of selling out because he's been this goofy, you know, kind of charismatic character. I miss the Seth Rollins that was a sellout because he's so much better as a mega heel. Like, I feel like that just fits Seth Rollins' personality when it comes to his character, obviously. He does such a great job at being that heel to where everyone is supposed to hate them. Now, I'm not saying that's the only way to make him a mega heel, right? That's just my perception of what I can honestly think of without doing too much deep thinking. Because when it comes to WWE, you don't want to deep think too much. I feel like a lot of things that WWE comes up with, it's not too much deep thinking. It's more of just, okay, this makes sense, let's do it. Because once you start to overthink, you start to think of too many other factors that might come into play. If it makes sense right off the bat, right? I think my way of Seth Rollins turning heel, there aren't too many factors of why it can't happen. Even if it's not a super realistic way, if that's too much of overbooking, which I don't think it really is, I feel like it's a good way to turn someone mega heel without involving too many other people who aren't affiliated into the match. And it involves the main purpose of the match with all three of the superstars in the ring. The main goal is Paul Heyman. What better way to turn heel by manipulating, tricking the main objective of this entire match, which is Paul Heyman, making him believe that you are the good guy, you were looking out for him, and then you just turn on him immediately. Send Paul Heyman out for months. Make Seth Rollins, make it really believable that this Seth Rollins that we're about to see is a complete asshole. Like, that's what we need from Seth Rollins. The WWE Universe, they don't take him seriously. Even if it's not the way that I said it. This is just a great opportunity for WWE to really switch it up for Seth Rollins. Because if we're being honest here, Roman Reigns doesn't need to switch anything up. He's the most over superstar in the entire company. And then you got CM Punk, who is arguably 1 or 2. He's right up there with Roman, honestly. You don't need to add any more value to Roman Reigns or CM Punk. Even if they lose, it doesn't affect them. If Seth Rollins, he doesn't have to win the match, but if he doesn't have a shock factor in this match, he's literally just in the match just for the sake of it. Oh yeah, you got some bad blood with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. We'll just add you into the match. We'll just add you as like a decoy to confuse the crowd. No, dude. Seth Rollins is one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the world right now. Him as a heel is such a great character. I feel like WWE needs to capitalize the true talent of a heel Seth Rollins, especially at this stage of his career, because he does have a lot of bad blood amongst so many other superstars, and I feel like this is a great opportunity for it. This is why I think Seth Rollins should turn heel at WrestleMania, and also this is how I would want it to happen as well. I feel like Rollins would be a fantastic heel. I feel like by turning Rollins heel in this match is such a great way to do it, because there's so many beloved people in this match, and what better way to turn into a mega heel than destroying all the fans' favorite superstars. This is how I would book Seth Rollins to become a heel at WrestleMania 41, the night 1 main event in this big big triple threat match between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins for the sake of Paul Heyman. Let me know down below in the comment section if you would book Seth Rollins to become a heel, or maybe no one becomes a heel in this match and it's just 3 baby faces and we're gonna have no shock factor for the night 1 main event, which might not sound good to others, but I know this match is going to be phenomenal and I'm super excited to watch, even if Seth Rollins doesn't become a heel. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and also that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.